interview either.
I had a pretty sleepless night last night because I couldn't help thinking that somewhere we are just missing a link. And it's just around the corner, but we're just not getting that little link that's going to make everything make sense. Hello? Hello, Frans.
Finally, Frans Kemp notified the team that Tinny had had a change of heart and would meet them in Johannesburg for dinner, and that he would grant an interview.
All right.
In anticipation of Tinny's long-awaited interview, the team set out to treat him to a traditional South African barbecue. At last, there may be a chance for the missing pieces in the puzzle to fall into place.
Also in November 1999, Mariette got permission to come to South Africa to attend Tinny's daughter's wedding.
Right.
And at that stage there was a South African lawyer called Henny Welgemoot.
That's right, yeah.
Who advised Tinny that Mariette should break her bail conditions and stay in South Africa. Because South Africa won't extradite a citizen to a country where she can be executed. And Tinny said both him and Mariette decided to return back to Botswana. Now, I'm wondering, Mariette by then had already spent 10 months in prison. Why would she return to Botswana knowing that she could be executed? I mean, did she think because she's a white South African woman nothing's going to happen to her? Or did she really believe that Tinny's going to get her off? Prove her innocence?
Yeah, you know, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered, and there are a number of questions I would have liked to have asked, especially Mariette, but of course that is now too late. Tinny, I'd like to know, how are you coping at the moment emotionally? How's the family coping? Mariette's daughters, are they well?
You know, Sandra, I think as with most traumas, it tends to get used to it. You still remember it, you still think about it, birthdays, certain days, things that's happened. But we are coping, the kids are coping, we're working very well together on that. And I think that is the main thing at this point in time, is that we're getting through it.
Also about the hypnosis and the drugging. Now, I know that Evans Brown said that the first time that he hypnotized Mariette, he felt that it was not the first time that she had been hypnotized, because she hypnotized so easily. But do you really think that it's possible to hypnotize and drug somebody for such a long time that they could actually perform a duty after so many hours?
Do you recall the case in, the first one was in America, it was twin brothers. They picked up ladies at some club or a bar or something. And the way they did it is they've actually spiked their wine with something. They put it in there, they took him to their flats, and they kept him there for, well, according to the court reports and the newspaper reports, for up to a week at a time. And these ladies had done absolutely anything and everything that these guys told them to do.
Can you tell me, why do you think the court didn't accept Evans Brown's evidence?
Based on the letter that they received, the state received, or statement they received from this psychiatrist in South Africa, they tried to disqualify Evans Brown as not being an expert in hypnotherapy, because he's not a medical doctor.
Why did you decide in the first case to use a hypnotist?
Mariette was confused. Nobody can deny that.
Why do you say she was confused?
Sandra, it's difficult to go into every small detail. The actions, things that she said today and what she says tomorrow, which was not the same.
Tinny, is it true that you have some legal training?
I would not comment on that. I've started it, but I haven't finished anything.
What would you say to an allegation that you interfered in the lawyers' cases? and that you wouldn't take their advice?
If I were able to handle the case on myself, I thought I wouldn't have needed a lawyer. The lawyer handled it the way that he saw fit. I was not in a position to influence him or to give him advice on anything. And in fact, I never did. This is the first time that I've heard that I've been confusing the issues with him.
Okay.
That is, whoever make that kind of allegation doesn't know what they're talking about.
You feel that that was not true? The fact that they consulted mostly with you and not with Mariette?
They consulted mostly with both of us together, because that's the way that Mariette also wanted it to be done.
My case is based on the instructions that my client gives to me. My case was fought on the basis of those instructions. What I believed or did not believe my client may or may not have done were totally irrelevant. It's not for me to judge whether what my client said to me was consistent or inconsistent.
Well, the court record speaks for itself, mind you. There was contradictory evidence. And as soon as I got engaged in this case, that's the first area that I tried to touch with Mrs. Bosch. I was hoping that with more time, I would be able to break through and get answers from her. But some answers were provided for some of the contradictions, why there were some of those contradictions.
Now, Annetjie, your domestic workers' evidence was also contradictory. Mariette had said that she'd come back early. I think she said she was home by 7:35, whereas Annetjie said that she'd gone out and she only came back quite late.
Unfortunately, she passed away. She only testified that Mariette went out and that she came back late.
Okay.
But the testimony, she did agree that she went out before Charmaine left. And she also said later on that Mariette was in the house at the time that Charmaine left. So somewhere along the line it doesn't make sense to me.
Tini, you said that the actual bullets were never tested forensically.
Yes, look, a cartridge consists of two parts. It's got a cartridge shell and it's got a bullet, bullet point. Then, during the summation of the case, our lawyer made a point. He said that the bullet points that was found on the scene was not sent for ballistic tests because the state knew that the cartridges that they were using in court came from the firearm, but that they were not sure whether the bullet points came from the same firearm. That is why they did not dare send it in for identification. The prosecuting attorney objected to that statement. He said that the cartridge, that the bullets, the points, were too severely damaged, too badly damaged to be identified.
Did they present them in court as evidence?
No, it disappeared. Nobody knew where it is. But the judge said that he is agreeing with the prosecution. He sustained their objection. And he said that he was quite willing to find that the shells that was used in court and the missing bullet heads, the missing bullet points, definitely, without a doubt, came from that firearm. Nowhere along the line did anybody put any kind of identification marks on any one of those objects. So there's no positive proof linking those shells to the murder scene. So that is, to my mind, I am still not willing to accept that the firearm that Mariette took into Botswana is the murder weapon. It's never been proven.
Do you think that it was just bad timing taking the pistol over?
The inference is there. She took it on the same day that Rio was killed, and therefore everybody accept that it must have been a murder weapon. That was not the only 9mm pistol in existence in Botswana.
Well, it was all over the press, so I can ask the question that you felt that Henny Coetzee was the person who'd committed the murder.
Yes, I've heard that I'm repeating it like a mantra, and that